Greetings, Clausewitz here. So I just want to make like a quick video, I hope it will be a quick video, about shock cavalry, but not in the sense of what was shock cavalry for, how it's defined, what was its tasks on the battlefield, and which countries, which states used them, and blah blah blah. This is something for a different video. But I have this impression that there is this opinion out there, it's over opinion, that like the knights came in the Middle Ages, or like heavy shock cavalry came, and then also in form of knights, with the more developed lances for it. And actually this lance type, this classical knight lance, which had this different parts, so you could easily tuck it to your body and everything, wasn't always there. Like the early Middle Ages, the knights used just normal lances. So that with like basically this invention of this lance, or this usage of them, like revolutionized the warfare in Europe and was heavily depending on knights, so basically on heavy shock cavalry. And this was like the primarily type of warfare. It's also called impact warfare. This is a good type, or I would call it impact tactics. Sounds not so hard or not so impressive, but and it wasn't the main warfare, because many battles, or basically a huge factor in wars, were besieging castles, besieging settlements or towns, cities, because the architecture, the tools, just the whole technology level of building fortifications, castles improved. So you had much more castles, fortifications, which just is a castle, in comparison to the antiquity or so. So basically you had to overcome also these positions where you actually cavalry is mostly useless or just plays a support role. And cavalry is extremely important as a support type of support troops. So I don't want to say they were useless and heavy cavalry wasn't used or whatever. I just want to say it wasn't the main tactical factor. And when you had like a real field battle, you often hadn't the right proper terrain to deploy heavy cavalry charges. Good example of like what is not proper terrain for heavy cavalry is like the Battle of Agincourt, where basically the French horses, the French knights, were stuck in the mud. And this is what can happen, or happened in Europe often, like the terrain wasn't suited for this. And just to give the title of my video more sense, because I said it's nothing new and then I mentioned this, that we had shock cavalry before in the antiquity, like 1,000 years or since 1,000 years already. We had like the Macedonian companion cavalry, and we had on all its like developments from it, and we had the cataphract, the Eastern cataphract. And this basically, this could also be just an improvement of this version, because they are extremely similar. This guy is just more armored. And actually his name derived from a term for like armored out of the Greek language. And so they were, the main difference between these guys here and the later knights were basically not the lance. The lance was basically the same for the most of the time. But they had different horses. Basically in antiquity they had smaller, not so strong horses, therefore not so fast horses, especially when they would carry a rider and armor, and the lack of stirrups and saddles. So this is very important, because you can't like charge on 30 km/h inside an enemy infantry formation with your lance and everything when you fell off the horse. Would be pretty funny kinda, and it wasn't even possible. The horse couldn't accelerate at such high speeds. They were kinda slow actually. But you have to imagine they were like a steamroller. They were heavy guys. They had several hundred kilos on this horse, and they were like 60 to 80 kilo this guy, would wear 30 to 50 kilo armor. And this horse also like 50 kilo armor, or even more. And this guy accelerating to higher speed than you could run basically, and with other horses as well, and this lance on them, so they could poke you or stab you basically when you are holding them back, or till they kind of overwhelm you, and they basically roll over you slowly, or kind of charge hard in comparison, stab some people to death, use really this crushing ability of the charge and pushing people together, maybe disengage and engage again, or push through the people. And this was actually common tactics for the Macedonian version, but therefore about this I will talk in a separate video when I talk about Macedonian army in general. So this whole concept was nothing new. but also you just see it really like in the East. So Greece. So Greece, like modern Turkey, and Middle East. So this is the reason why Persia, the Sassanids, and everybody like in Macedonian used this kind of cavalry. They had proper terrain for it, so it would be a reliable tactic. And later on, even the Eastern Roman Empire had really like cataphract troops in it, but not the Western Roman Empire, not so much basically. Also for other reasons as well, but I don't want to get into it, it's get too complicated. And why they were so effective in the Middle Ages, because when they were deployed they would work pretty well. It was effective. It was more effective shock cavalry than in the past, because better horses, stirrups, saddles, like I said. And but the main reason why they were so effective when they would be deployed, could be deployed, because the infantry was basically too weak. And when you like look just in the late medieval or early Renaissance, depends on the area looking at, you see the uprising of these mercenaries, like first the Swiss Reichsläufer, German Landsknechte later, and also in Spain, in Italy, mercenary developments. And they were well organized, had well thought through tactics, and they made every shock cavalry obsolete. And just with like very similar tactics like Macedonia in the past, and basically with long spears, with pikes. And so this is what I mean. It was nothing special, it was nothing new for itself, it was effective shock cavalry, but it wasn't always used, it wasn't the main warfare. This is the reason why I said I wouldn't call it impact warfare, I would call it impact tactics. Just to like say to underline that they were like really efficient shock cavalry, but actually just call it shock cavalry. It's the same. It doesn't matter if it is more effective than another shock cavalry. The task is the same. And so yeah, this is just what I want to say. And why basically they didn't have so good infantry was you already had good knights with horses and everything, which kind of trained their own. The whole economic system, the feudal system, was not well suited for organized infantry forces. Basically you would invest your own resources to gain proper infantry. What they kind of did, they hired early other mercenaries, like in the medieval times. They're not this well organized like the Swiss, or basically, but just well trained mercenaries, not only infantry, also cavalry. But yeah, this is what I just want to say, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If so, please like this video and subscribe my channel, and hopefully see you soon.